started the stream, I just have one thing to do first. I don't want to wait on Connor because he usually.
If he joins, it joins.
Yeah.
It's all good.
W Connor.
Strike first, strike fast, strike hard.
You know how Connor is. He makes plans and then changes them right away or up to it.
All right. Do you know when people are gonna come?
Uh, as far as I know, it's just gonna be the three of us.
Okay.
I'm just quickly doing what I usually do
They can come if they want to come, but we're gonna start
every
without them.
session, which is posting a few Discord servers that members of I'm a member of. Alright, we can start. Or oops.
Yeah, you already started it.
No, I meant actually and I accidentally just stopped. Hello and welcome to DervDerp and Friend Reviews. I'm DervDerp.
Ski nerd.
And today we have somebody else joining us, Eric.
Yep.
Some random guy we found, walking the streets. We were like, hey, do you have Discord? He was like, yeah. No, do you like the boys? Yeah. Well, come review with us. And he was like, okay.
Is that how it went, Eric?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yep.
If you guys, I didn't have Discord. You just forced me to download it.
Yep. I mean, he had a phone, but no Discord. I mean, he was picking up cans and trying to lick the soda remaining in them when we found him. So, seemed pretty desperate. And we thought he was a perfect candidate to help us review.
Today we're reviewing The Boys Season 4, Episode 4. And after that, we will be doing Great Teacher Onizuka 31 through 35.
Yep. He's still only 22, though.
And single.
Yep. Anyways, episode 4 happened. This was a very heavy Homelander episode. It was very awesome. And then the Starlight thing and Firecracker. Kind of like Firecracker more than
Yep.
Starlight at this point.
Probably. I think most people hate Firecracker now. At first they were like, "Oh, new character," and they're like, "I guess Starlight kind of deserves it," but the boys usually just introduces some aspect of a character to make you hate them even more.
Yeah.
That's what makes it good.
She's not she's just telling lies to make people feel better. She doesn't really have an agenda. Her only agenda is to get revenge on Starlight, pretty much.
And she really doesn't have powers either.
Nope.
All she can do is make this spark.
Yep.
Yeah, and it doesn't even look like she has durability because she got beaten up by Starlight pretty rough.
Oh, that was intentional. She totally wanted that
Yeah,
to happen. That's why she didn't fight back.
yeah, and we also saw Sister Sage. She was confirmed to now have like super regenerative skills beside in her brain.
Yep.
So it's gonna
So
be interesting to see how they take her down, or
she's
if
a
they even
perfect
do.
candidate for football. I mean, she can never get concussed. She'll just grow stronger. Um, Imagine if she was a guy and she was just like, yeah, I'm gonna play football. Oh, you think I have CTE? Yeah, no, fuck you. Like, I'm gonna get hit in the head all I want.
My question is if, because she says her brain never stops growing. If she didn't lobotomize herself, would her brain grow so much it explodes?
Maybe she means like,
I don't know.
I mean, it would probably grow at like a normal pace that it grows during, like, I don't think it's superhuman like growth. I think it just is able to grow more like on a regular.
It's like learning ability. I think is
Yeah.
what she meant.
So I don't think it would like burst her brain open. Just
It's
like,
like she's a higher
you know,
evolution being or something like that.
It was just the wording that they used made it seem like it just didn't regenerate, it just kept growing. That was the wording.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the fun one, which is Homelander. Starts off um, someone going down an elevator. They're like, "Oh my God, there's a security breach." Blah blah blah. And it's just Homelander in there. And he comes out and he's like, "Oh, hey guys, I got a cake for you." And everybody's like terrified.
By
We
the
have no
way,
idea why, but we find out that
this is the
where he was
where
tested on.
where he is
Yeah.
basically born.
Yeah, basically. Where Homelander was born, not where
tested,
John was.
not treated like a human, even though he uh, could have escaped at any time because he's a superhuman being. Um, the first fun part was the cake, and I was just like, I thought it was gonna be like, oh, it's the last kind of supper kind of thing, your last meal before you knew he was gonna kill them, but he did it in such a way where it was just like I've been playing this for years, like in my head over and over again. And first we get the guy. Uh,
He gave them each a test,
yeah,
basically.
pretty much. Um,
A
Yeah.
test that they could have passed.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
the first one was the trash guy. He like threw a basket and
As Homelander was being burned alive in an oven.
yep, they were doing tests on him to
Yeah.
see how
Durable he
resistant
was.
his skin was, and he's like,
Yeah.
it hurt a lot. It hurt, and it was so hot, my tears just evaporated right away. So
Yeah, I think the backstory that I mean this episode provided probably it helped because in the diabolical episode, the one where he was with Noir on his first mission or whatever, since that one is canon, I mean we kind of see him like trying to be a hero in that episode, um, like actually try to save people, and then when he messes up, he gets frustrated. But so because we see him being experimented on as a child, but we don't really get the explanation on how he was like this like super, how he became like this bad. But I think that is like the other level that we were missing from his step, like in his messed up ladder to where he is now, and
yeah,
at least in his mindset.
like not having parents, it's clear he never had any parents, and all we knew before was he was a test tube baby and experimented on. That's all we knew, but we didn't know like what they did. So this kind of gave insight to like, oh, this is how cold they were.
Back to the cake, I was kind of expecting, because right before he asked, like, where's the manager, or where's Deborah, the person behind the whole plant, I was kind of expecting it revealed that he baked her into the cake.
Oh, well, it was an ice cream cake.
But
Yeah.
I meant like somehow her into the cake.
Yeah, I thought
Just that made it seem like
I thought it was gonna be poison, to be honest. Poison, or when he was like, "Oh, pull up the wastebasket," like, "Oh crap, he's gonna make him vomit and shit," vomit to death. No, but anyway, so he puts the guy in the oven, and he burns alive. And he's like, "No, I don't want to go in the oven." Well, if you don't, then I'm gonna put your whole family in there.
with you.
Yeah. So he gets his revenge that way, and then he talks to the fat guy. I don't remember his name. Marty. And he's like, "Oh, remember the time when I was in the room and you were just like watching over me? You gave me a nickname. You called me Squirt."
You remember why?
And he's like, "No." His whole thing about masturbation, and he only had a couple of minutes to himself per day. And one day he got caught, and he called him Squirt from then on.
And what does he do as punishment? He makes him masturbate in front of everybody else.
Yeah, and it was hilarious. Your dad walks by, and he's just like, "Well, Jesus Christ."
Yeah, and I think it reminded me kind of, especially what they were saying, or like I was just following orders. It reminded me kind of Magneto, like if you see an X-Men, I think it was First Class, where he's like, I've been like a victim to people following orders for too long. Kind of felt like that.
Yeah,
And I think it also showed and expanded more on his like fear of aging, because I mean he's basically re-stepping like his way back of his life, see what he has done, and I think yeah, but I do think he's gonna die this season. It's just a little unpopular opinion, but I feel like he's gonna die, and then Butcher is gonna take the. I think Butcher lied about taking V from Frenchie, and I think he actually will take it at the end of the season, and then he's gonna be the bad guy for season 5.
Maybe.
That's what I think, but just going by the comics perspective, I think.
I mean, they
that,
might.
That is right.
I mean, they could have them fail to save
No, I was just
the guy
gonna
who's
say
running for president
that-
and have Victoria Newman as like because they were VP and then they'd be the president, and they could have Homelander basically just I don't know, probably just take over that way. If they were gonna do that, I think that would be the way they would do it. I don't think they would do like a full on like invasion. But I don't know. It's because like it's kind of hard to kill Homelander since he's basically like the mascot for the boys.
And also, he's basically invulnerable. The only way that they could have was Soldier Boy.
Yeah, and who knows what he is.
And
Was it what I forgot? Did they confirm he's gonna be in season 4?
I don't remember. I think there's been rumors, but I don't remember.
We don't need Soldier Boy. We got Negan, who wasn't in the episode.
Which he should
Yeah.
be, according to Wikipedia, he should be in every other one. Because I believe it said he was in 6 episodes.
Yeah, I remember watching that too. Or reading it.
Yeah. So what do you think about A-Train?
Or let's continue with the whole Homelander part first.
Let's finish Homelander first, and then we'll move on to other things.
We are going in order how this takes place throughout the whole episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's do it in order. We can't do it in order. We didn't take notes, we just watched it. We do take notes for the other one. Anyways, so this guy is forced to, like, masturbate in front of everyone. So, in Homelander's words, we can all laugh at him, we can all laugh at you. And he pulls down his pants, and everybody gathers around, and he starts doing a drumming motion, and he's like, "Oh, are you having trouble getting it up? Well, here's some incentive. I'll laser your dick off if you don't do it." There we go. All right, come on, let's do it. Everybody's
Go,
He's
Squirt,
like-
go!
come on, everybody, cheer him on. And everybody else is just scared. And he's like, "I can't do it." He's like, "Oh, that's too bad." And he just lasers him in the dick, just like he said. So, he's a hole where his dick was, and he's on the floor
And he has a new
bleeding.
asshole as well.
Yep, exactly. And he's on the floor bleeding, and he steps in his blood. He's like, "Oh, ew! I got some of your grossness on me."
Dick blood.
Yeah. And then that's when Deborah,
Yeah.
is that her name? Deborah walks in, and she's like, "Oh," and she knows how to talk to Homelander. Like she's scared of him, but she definitely doesn't show it, for sure. Um, she's just like, "Oh, hey, Homelander, is this how you treat people? Just put him out of his misery." And she convinces him to like, "Hey, let's talk about this," and talks about his childhood and like you've always wanted, you know, you didn't want to disappoint people. You could have left, you could have left at any time. You were stronger than any one of us. And she tells him like everybody else is scared. They're scared of you, and like how he was born and he killed his surrogate mother and he killed like 3 doctors and a nurse or something like that.
Basically, how they described his birth was what happened to Becca in the comics. Butcher's wife.
Oh, she's supposed to die in the comics.
Yeah, she dies in the comics at childbirth.
Okay.
Because the baby goes bursting out of her stomach.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, I thought she was. Because in the TV show, she was born, or he was.
That was one of the major.
Oh, that wasn't. Sorry, that was his son. Never mind.
That was one of the major differences from the comics is that Ryan wasn't killed at birth.
Okay. Got it. Oh, okay. That makes sense. All right. And then he's kind of you could tell he's upset, and she's like, "Come on, come to my come over here. We'll talk about this." And he's like, "No, I want to go in this like torture room the bad room that I don't like." She's like, and then they talk, and then at the very end, she's left in there alive with all the other people dead.
Slaughtered.
Yeah, and he locks the door, and she's just stuck in there. And he's all covered in blood, and he rides the elevator up with a smile on his face. It was fantastic. It was great.
Yeah.
So that was
I
that.
feel like we haven't seen Homelander be that ambitious in a while, so it was nice, kind of. I mean, not nice, but it was like we were due for this type of behavior.
It was nice to see him accomplish something for once this season.
Yeah.
Amazing performance by Anthony Starr.
Yeah.
Really good.
A lot of emotions going through him. Like he's been waiting for this date.
Probably one of his best performances of the show.
Now the question is, will he celebrate by killing tons of people overseas, or will he masturbate off of a building? We will see. Anyways, so that next we have the Homeland. No, not the Homelander. But Starlight and Firecracker.
Yep.
So Firecrackers.
Wait 1 second, I'll be back. I think.
Okay.
I'll see.
We're still gonna talk. We see Firecracker, and the VOT News, setting up outside of Starlight's
House of.
What's that called? House of. Or she helps rehabilitate teenagers. I forget what it's called, but out of that place, and actually before that, she's talking to that Bob guy. Dickie Bob was his name again?
Vic, or not Vic.
The candidate.
Dakota Bob.
Dakota Bob. And she's like, "Hey, you need to get your bill passed, and I want to help you get it passed because I want to see Bot take it down, and you can't do it without me. So include me in it to get it freaking passed." And so then Firecracker's outside the house. And then they're like, shit, they're gonna like start talking and this is gonna be bullshit and blah 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 blah. And then we see the boys walk in and Butcher's with them and she's like, no, I don't wanna see him here. He's a nuisance. and they go on a mission to kind of infiltrate and get information on Firecracker. Um, and like during the show, during a break or whatever in the show,
That first Butcher and Mother's Milk goes to try to blackmail her.
yep, they find her in the back in the by the trailers, and he's like you're gonna give me everything you have on who was it that she wanted information on? On Sage.
Yep.
Sage's plans, Sister Sage's plans, and if you don't, I'm going to show him a picture of you
Having sex
with
with
an
a
underage
15-year-old.
Yeah, when you were 20. Um, and she's like, oh, acting like, oh no, you're gonna do this, and then she's like, well, why don't I post it myself? She posts it, and they're like stunned, like what the hell, and immediately she goes out, she's like, I have something to confess. I fornicated with the 15-year-old boy, but then I went to the Lord, and the Lord saved me, and they're like, oh, hallelujah. It's Christianity in a nutshell. Like you can do whatever the fuck you want, and if you ask for God's forgiveness, well, yeah, you murdered all these people, but you asked for God's forgiveness. All right, that works. It's like, okay. Anyways, a little digression there. After that, um, Butcher gets the key to Firecracker's trailer. So he walks in there and he's looking.
Frenchie goes first.
Oh, did I say?
Yeah,
Frenchie goes in there, and he's like, he finds the gun purse or whatever, the embroidered gun purse.
Pill case, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, there's a pills in there, and Frenchie looks at it, he's like, I thought he was gonna take some on the spot.
I did not see what the pill case said though.
It started with a methamaromol.
That's all it really showed.
It was very, very, very quick, so I don't know.
I assume it's probably like psychotic drugs, like antipsychotic.
It could be. I'm sure they'll tell us what it is next episode, because Frenchie certainly didn't say it. But then he gets caught by the priest guy,
Ezekiel,
the guy with the stretchy arms. And,
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah. And so they get in a fight, and Frenchie gets thrown out the window basically.
He gets his ass handed to him.
And then Butcher walks in, and actually before that we need to talk about. No, this happened. It happened after. I don't know. It doesn't matter what order. They get into a fight. Then Butcher walks in and he confronts Ezekiel, and he takes not nitrous oxide, the cold stuff. What's that called?
I did say it when we were watching it.
I know. It starts with an N. The stuff that's super cold and you can blow on someone.
Nitroglyceride.
Nitroglyceride? No, that's like TNT. That's like a higher form of TNT. Chrono. It's a. What is that called? Oh my god! Very cold. Now I need to know. Very cold chemicals. Ultra cold chemical reaction.
Nitro.
Son of a bitch. Hold on, folks.
I know it's nitro something.
I'm sure you can leave it in the comments below how dumb we are. Jesus Christ. Chemical used in the boys to defeat Ezekiel. Not Compound V. Ezekiel the boys we get. Defeated by Billy's. Freezing his arm, referencing Plastic Man's only weakness. Jesus Christ, please just show it. We're going on Reddit. We're seeing what Reddit says. Says it's gonna be. Da-da-da-da. Well, anyways, they freeze his arm off. Go away. Smart move. It's your boys. Kryptonite. Yeah, let me put creative. Oh my god. Oh, didn't even show it. What? Anyways, it's super cold. It's not no trick mister.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just trying to eliminate all this.
Nitrous oxide. Coming nose is laughing. That's laughing gas. Didn't get a little laughing gas. It's it's for cryo sleep kind of thing. Anyways, doesn't matter because we're dumb. Um, he sprays him with this cold stuff, and he's able to snap off his arm. And immediately Ezekiel uses the other arm to wrap Butcher's neck.
Liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen. I knew it started with an N. Son of a bitch. He uses liquid nitrogen.
I knew eventually I'd find it.
In a fire extinguisher, liquid nitrogen. Anyways, he does that, and Billy's, being choked out, and he envisions his wife, and she's like, "You can't give up, Billy," and it just cuts to a scream.
Or first you see something, and Billy's head go from his forehead down to.
Yep, it's a similar thing to when he was in the shower. I think you were eating or something when that happened.
Yep.
But there was like a snake-like or worm-like thing going down his back, and it made him pass out in the shower, which is why he had a cut in the shower, and they reference it again and again. But you see something near his eye, just traveling through his bloodstream or whatever. It's really weird, and we don't know what it is. So apparently he took the compound V, and that's probably what it is. It's probably I thought it was the 10th compound V, but I forgot that he took the actual compound V to try to kill himself faster or whatever.
No, try to cure his disease.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Instead of curing it, it just made him
more sick.
Yeah.
Okay, made him more sick. Okay, got it. So
that's what it said in the episode.
So then he catches Huey doing something. We'll get to that. And then this is where Firecracker reveals that
Starlight had an abortion.
Yeah, Starlight had an abortion, and Starlight can't control herself. This is exactly what Sister Sage wants. She wants to. This is the pebble that starts the avalanche. So Starlight just lights up, flies on over, and just starts beating the crap out of Firecracker, and she's not thinking, which is the plan, which is Sister Sage's plan. I mean, I could see it from a mile away. Well, I didn't, but as soon as she said something, I was like, uh-oh, she's trying to provoke her. Oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit. And it happened. And so that gets caught on video. It's live, and Dakota Bob is like, I can't be associated with you anymore for attacking someone like this and getting an abortion or whatever. Because he's losing too many, quote, Republican votes. So, then we go to Huey.
The third part of the episode has to do with Huey. He finds out.
And Kimiko.
His dad.
He's in a vegetative state.
And won't come out of it.
And the mom is like, we need to put him out of his misery. That's what he wants. And Huey's bright plan is to get Compound V into him to save his life. So he makes a contact. He goes with Kimiko to making a contact for something. Kimiko doesn't know what's happening. But A-Train comes and he's like, hey, you owe me one. Give me the Compound V. He's like, bro, I can't do that. He's like, if you do, but if you do it, we'll be square. You need to do this. I need to save my dad, no matter what. And then they get attacked by the rising sun.
Shining
light. That's a good song. House of the Rising Sun. Anyways, they get attacked by shining light, and Kimiko.
A along with the girl that uh, that Kimiko has some past with.
Yeah, and
And Huey, as they're escaping, trips on a forklift fork.
yep, and he busts up his ankle, so it's hard for him to walk. So Kimiko takes a couple rulers and some tape and wraps it up, and she's like, oh, these are the shining light people. They come to attack me, and he's like, why are they attacking you? Oh, Kimiko's like, in text form, of course. Kind of murdered some of them. He's like, oh, well, why didn't you tell me? Well, the same why didn't you tell me is Kimiko and Huey meeting A Train. And she was like, what the fuck are you doing? We're not supposed to like be associated with him. Uh, and you're getting Compound and you're trying to get Compound V. Like, bro, what the fuck? So anyways, so Kimiko gives him like a shield and
Box
a box
cutter.
cutter, and she gets found one of those cutting things in school in art class, so you can cut things. But anyways, it's a long blade, so Kimiko uses that and is just killing people. Kimiko gets split in half with a grenade launcher, so that was cool to see. Um,
Entrails and everything.
yep, and he was just like, "Oh crap!" And she told Huey, "You need to fight or die. Like, if you want to survive, you want your dad to survive. You need to get through this." And so Huey eventually comes up against a guy, and they're kind of fighting back and forth. And it's obvious Huey doesn't want to kill him, but Huey's backed up against a wall, and he's just like, doing this for my dad, and he gets him with the box cutter, slices his belly open, gets his leg, gets his arm, gets his neck, and he finally goes down.
Finally, Huey's back. After the first 3 episodes, he finally actually does some fighting.
Yeah.
He's back.
He's never really done much fighting. He's more like the tech
The tech
guy.
He did kill
Who
Translucent.
Yeah, he's more the tech guy who Billy recruited because they needed another person. Because who was it that they lost at the beginning that they didn't have?
They didn't lose anybody. It was just,
another one.
yeah.
Okay.
They lost like their handler, because that's what happened with Lamplighter,
Oh, okay.
and that's why Mother's Milk hated Frenchie at the beginning, because Frenchie led Lamplighter to like their boss's home, killing their boss and their kids.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so they get in the fight and they survive. And then A Train later delivers the Compound V.
By the way, Kimiko lets the girl live.
Oh yeah, she runs into the girl and she lets her live, and the girl's like, I still fucking hate you. And so Kimiko just is like, she starts crying, and she didn't have a sister. She had a brother who died.
Yep.
But Kimiko was a person who beat her up and then put her into a truck. Then they did experiments on her, I guess.
And gave her a scar.
Gave her a giant scar on her face.
In like a dogfighting arena.
Yeah. Anyways, then Compound V is delivered, but we see how A Train gets it. So he sneaks into Homelander's apartment, and he finds all the milk and the
Refrigerated.
and the bottle of hairs. And he was just like, oh, what the fuck is this?
And the Nazi photo.
Yep, and the Nazi photo. And he gets the Compound V, and he's met by, what's her name again?
Ashley.
Ashley, and she's like, hey, what are you doing here? Is that Compound V you're taking? And he immediately, like, scouts upstairs to see what happened, and she left a juice in his toilet.
Basically,
what are you doing? What are you doing here?
Basically asking for Homelander to kill her, because he obviously would know who left it.
Yeah.
Since he now has super sniffing abilities.
Oh, yeah, right. And I don't think she knows that, but she wasn't there for that. Um, which is funny. Anyways, so they have a standoff like, oh, I guess I'll keep quiet if you keep quiet. If you say something, then I'll say something. So
What I think the reason why Ashley was most worried about Adrian with the V is because he was addicted to it in the first season.
yeah, well, and he I think he just locked it away for everyone. I think that was all the compound V
Yeah. But I meant
there.
because I think that's probably why what Ashley was thinking and why he stole it
Yeah.
was for himself.
Well, I think she wanted something on A Train. Like, oh, I gotta tell. Anyways, you're probably right. Then A Train delivers a TQE, and that's where we gets that, and then Butcher is hiding in a dark alley, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! What are you doing here? Getting some bees?" He's just like, "It's not for me. It's my dad." And he's like, "Whoa! What are you doing?" And he's like, "He's gonna die if I don't give it to him." He's like, "You better not do it." Um,
And Butcher has a little speech about um, that taking V doesn't always cure things,
yeah, tells him about how he injected it into his body.
and it
It didn't
just
work.
made him die faster.
Yeah. So then Huey goes back to his
Dad's
dad,
hospital room.
and he's contemplating about using it or not. And I think he's on the verge of like, I don't think I'm gonna use it. We'll just let him die.
And then he leaves it in his jacket, puts it on the chair.
And he goes to get air, and his mom obviously noticed that he has something in the
Yeah.
pocket, and she checked it, and she noticed, oh, it's compound B. Let's give it to him. Like no hesitation. Um, you know,
And last scene of that was him convulsing and waking back up his dad.
Yep. I think that was the end of the episode. Or no,
No,
it was only under
yeah.
slapping. That's what it was. And then what was the other? We did Frenchie. We did
The Deep and Sister Sage.
Oh, right. Sister Sage in the Deep. So that was a whole thing. Yeah, that was great. Like after they had their encounter in the last episode, he comes up to her. And she's like, "I find you fucking disgusting." Like, and he's confused by this. And at the end of the episode, after all this crap happens, find out that she lobotomized herself to be dumb for a little bit, and she's like, "I want you to give a little lobotomy, and like through the eye, and then that's how she gets her high basically by being dumb for a couple hours."
Really fucked up scene.
Yeah, it's really messed up, and she's like, "Oh, let you do me in the butt," and he's like, "Okay."
While watching some video.
Yeah, no, it was Kim Kardashian and Ray J or something like that. Like it was Kim Kardashian's porn tape.
It's still a video.
Yeah. I'm just being specific. Anyways, so the episode, like, I thought it was just okay. The best part was obviously the Homelander part. The last one, Frenchie revealed to his boyfriend that he killed his family, and I thought it was a weird place to reveal that. Like it was bothering Frenchie, but it just didn't find out. It just wasn't the right time because he just got a concussion. So I thought it was like too early for a reveal. It didn't feel satisfying. I don't think the scene was very good. But overall, the whole episode, it was just okay. It was mainly Homelander was the best part.
Once again, fantastic performance.
Yeah, that was like 14 out of 10, from him.
It really showed his acting chops.
Yeah, what are you doing? This dog is being weird. Oh, you want to go out? Here you go. There you go. Are you gonna go? Mally doesn't know if she wants to to go or not? I'm gonna close it if you don't leave. Okay. You wanna go? Okay. Well, I'm closed. You're weird. Anyways, make up your frickin' mind.
I think she probably sensed my mom getting up.
Oh, probably. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Overall, yeah. Got some plot points happened. Definitely had the grossness. Um, I want to see where Sage and the Deep go. That's where that's what I'm interested
Atlantis.
in. Yeah. It didn't feel like Eminem didn't do like his character is so like taken back. I like it. I liked it better when Butcher was in charge.
Yep.
M being in charge is
is just a little more.
he's more like a yes
Safe.
man, like a safer, like a yes man. Like I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it like by the book. And Butcher's like, no, you can't do it by the book with Soups.
Yeah, let's just shove the dynamite up a Soup's ass and blow him up. That's.
Yeah. So yeah, that was episode. So we got 4 episodes left. And we'll see how it goes. Maybe Eric was right. Maybe Homelander's gonna die. I don't know. I don't think he is. I think he'll be there, and they'll get him sometime in the next season if he's gonna die.
I'm hoping that
But
this or next episode we start seeing more of the Russians.
Yeah,
Because
that Frenchy Russian plot point.
Yeah. It's really been hinting at it this season. Because it showed little Nina in the last episode.
Yeah. But
and
we'll
just
see it when we see it.
severely hinting at his past being a hitman for the mob.
Yeah, when he was younger and stuff. Anyway, so that was our review of season 4, episode 4.
And I'm gonna stop the recording, and then I'm gonna grab more water, not stop the stream, then I'll start it again for Great Teacher Onizuka.
Okay, well, I'm Ski Nerd, and that's...
Oops. Well, we aren't done.
Well, I know, but you gotta, when you're done with the video, you gotta do your outro too.
I forgot. Oops.
Friendless, that's funny. Intro, outro, all that fun stuff. The best intro I've ever seen, and the most obnoxious, is a streamer called, or not streamer, but a YouTuber called Chaz Plays, and he just starts the stream and goes, he does that for like 10 seconds, and it's just like...
Oops, not for kids.
Absolutely, show your kids this, show your kids this video.
Where we're talking about the guy masturbating and then getting his...
Yeah. Kids need to know this. They love it. Right, Nelly?
Why not?
Come on. Do it up. Where is he going? Nelly, where's he going? I'm Skeeter.
You gotta close the door? Oh, jeez.
No. How dare you make me close the door? I'm so angry.
Matt said if we're gonna do Jazz and Files, he wants us to just focus on one episode. I told him that you probably want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, why wouldn't we watch the whole thing? But, I mean, he can join us for it if he just wants to join us for one episode.
Yep. He said he just wants to do the only episode that actually focuses on the book.
Selby. Who likes Selby? I like Selby. Who likes Selby? I like Selby. Hey, look, it's my ass. It's the twerking episode.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Oh, right, my notes. Right, Melly? Let's do it to it. Is it recording?
Not yet.
Free stuff? Alright. Go ahead. 3, 2, 1, go! Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of... I thought you were gonna show us. Hello! Oh, hey! Wow! We're here! Oh, how did we get here? Well, I teleported. Hi, and welcome to another episode of DervDerp Reviews. I'm Skeeter, and that guy over there is...
DervDerp.
Yes. And, we're here to review Great Teacher Onizuka, episodes
31 through 35.
Yes, those ones. I have them in my notes. Look at my beautiful notes. Wow.
And this time, as you guys can see, I made my own notes.
I need better glasses. Anyways, it just looks like gibberish to me.
So,
It's kind of like... This is totally digressing. It just popped into my head. I was in college, and some kids were like talking in class or whatever about how teachers don't really read the papers, and there was this one teacher who definitely didn't read the, like, she read like the first page and the last page for all these like essays they had to write, and one kid for the first like 8 weeks of the course, in the middle of all his pages, he just put baseball stats. And she didn't catch it until like week 8 or 9. I'm like, bruh, why are you're just hurting yourself. Don't do this. Anyways, that was a huge digression, and that was a horrible story, but it was very entertaining to me. And so, speaking of teaching, we're going to talk about Great Teacher Onizuka, episode 31.
it starts out with one of the teachers talking to the principal about the trip money that Onizuka spent
Yes.
on the school cafe.
And Onizuka is charged with embezzlement. And who other than our favorite vice principal is super, super giddy about this. He's like, ooh, this is so great. He's gonna be fired. And everybody's accusing him of stealing all this money. How is he gonna pay for it? And so Onizuka's gang is outside, and they're trying to figure out ways. They're like, how are we gonna like get the money? It's 1,000,000 yen or whatever.
8 million.
No, that's later.
Oh.
It's because the original is like 1,000,000 yen. 1,000,000 yen, and Onizuka comes up and she says like, "Hey, how's it going?" They're like, "Onizuka, what are you doing here? They're accusing you of embezzling these funds." It's like, don't worry about it. I'll just go in there and talk to him. And all the third year class is all super pissed at him, and he slams the door open and he's like, "Oh, that's him. He's a great teacher, Onizuka." Or not, they don't say that, but it's Onizuka. So he gets up on the podium. He's like, "Hey, don't worry. I'm gonna pay it back. You guys are gonna make that trip." And they're super pissed still. And then he's like, "I'm gonna give you guys an extra 10,000 yen. How about that?" And then everybody's like, they're even more mad. They're like, "What are you doing? Trying to bribe us?" And the vice principal was like, "What are you doing? Trying to bribe these kids?" And he's like, how about we go to Okinawa? Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And all the kids were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go to Okinawa." And everybody shuts up, and he has like a week to pay it off. And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be great." And then Kikuchi. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
One thing you did forget to mention that happens like between the start of the assembly is Uramaki, the 200 IQ girl,
Yeah.
meets with the Queen Bitch squad to try to get them to let up on Onizuka.
Oh,
That's a
and then,
continual thing that happens.
yeah, it's a very cool back and forth between the two masterminds of the class.
And I'm just making notes of the points that we touch,
Okay.
just so I don't repeat.
Excellent. So, mentions the Okinawa trip, and Kikuchi, the hacker guy, mentions to Onizuka that's like over $8 million, or 8 million yen, and Onizuka's like, "Don't worry, I got a winning lottery ticket as insurance. See, I loaned my friend 100,000 yen. He gave me this winning lottery ticket." And then
By the way, it's the dirty cop that.
yeah, it's some dirty cop that we're about to meet.
No, he was introduced in before.
Was he?
No,
he
no, it was this. No, yeah, he was introduced in this one.
Okay, yeah. And he's like, "Don't worry, I got this winning lottery ticket." And then Kikuchi looks at you, he's like, "This is fake." He's like, "No, it's not fake." He's like, "Yeah, see, they wrote in the winning numbers here." He looks at it like, "That son of a bitch!" He
The
gets
numbers
mad,
are too big.
And then Mariah's like, "Oh no, it actually is a lottery ticket. See, you win 100." So he goes back to the police station, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going, friend?" He takes his gun and puts it in his mouth. He's like, "What are you gonna do to pay me back, huh?" He's like, "Oh, I gave you a lottery ticket. I never said it was like a 10 million yen winner." Oh,
and
God.
one other.
So that's why Onizuka was so confident that he could get all the kids to Okinawa.
Back to the whole assembly. Only person that believes in Onizuka that he can get the money is the principal, of course. None of the other teachers.
Yeah, that makes sense. She's like, "Well, he does have a week to get the money, and only he could do it." So he tries a multitude of things to get the money.
How about a lot of effort remains continual saying that he should become a tuna boat.
Oh, it's a tuna boat, go on a tuna boat and get
Fisherman.
fishing.
And that he'd look really good as a tuna boat fisherman.
Yeah, and so he's
something
like,
she says over and over and over.
Yeah, so his first move, he's like, "Whenever I was in trouble, I had a friend, and whenever we were in danger, me and my friend would get through it. So he goes to his friend, and he's like, "Can you lend me the money?" He's like, "No, I'm not gonna lend you the money. You already owe me 800,000 yen already."
And
He's like, "What? But all the things we've been through."
the dirty cop, his name is Seijima,
Seijima.
and he's
Okay.
also apparently an actor.
Yes.
Yeah, he says it like when he's first introduced.
Oh, I totally missed that. Yeah. Okay, he's an actor slash cop. Or maybe that was in the dub version.
Yeah, probably.
Um.
Onizuka holds him at gunpoint. Already covered that.
Mhm.
And then he even offers Onizuka a bunch of bricks of white powder. That ends up just
Oh.
being flour.
And then your room is like, "This is just flour. How dare you try to scam me?" Um. And then anyways, he tries a multitude of other things like insurance fraud.
Insurance
He wants
fraud.
to kill him. He's like, "If I kill myself, I'll get paid for it."
Which instead he causes a 9-car pileup instead of getting hit by a car.
No, I thought they stopped him from going up.
No, they said that he literally said after they tried to stop him, only thing I got was a 9-car pileup.
I missed that. I missed that. That's great.
Now you know why I started making notes.
Yeah. Then he tries to make counterfeit money. He's like, "I'm gonna make the counterfeit money. This is so great." And then one of the kids is like, "This looks super fake." He's like, "No, how dare you criticize
I
my
think it
art?"
was like he put the wrong numbers on
Yeah,
the
he's
bills.
like, "Yeah, there's no $10,000 bill."
And then he tries selling his organs on the black market.
Yep, that was another thing. He's like, how long do I have in intestines? Every foot of it, every foot of intestine will be 1,000,000 yen.
And
I don't need all of it, right?
once again, after him trying to sell his organs, the roommate once again tries to get him on the tuna boat.
Yep, he's like, "You're only playing on the student boat." And then he goes to play pachinko. And
By Kikuchi's idea.
And it's like, "Oh, we might have to do something illegal." And he puts a
Magnet.
a magnet in his fake hair. And he's like talking to him on the phone. He's like, "Oh, I love this fake magnet idea." Yeah. Because he keeps winning.
And of course, the security guards hear him.
Yep, and then they immediately, they're like, "What's this about a magnet?" And he's like, "Bye, I'm leaving." So he leaves all that stuff.
And then he
tries
works.
gambling.
He works
He does, like,
construction.
horse races, boat races.
Yep.
And he fails on all that.
And he also works
Yes.
construction.
He got a part-time job as construction. And then he's like down on his luck. He's like, "Oh, I only got like 4 days to do it." Down on his luck. And then the gaming kid, what's his name? Yoshikawa.
Offers him his allowance.
Offers him. He sold all his games. So that was 60,000 yen. And then he had an account from his parents, which was 3,000,000 yen. And the girl, it was the girl who.
Furukawa was her name.
Furukawa. She was like friends with Miyabi, but she told on Miyabi, and she was just like, "Oh," after he offers the 3,000,000 yen, she's like, "Oh, you can have this card. You can take out a million, and then in an hour I'll just say it was stolen. So you can do it that way." And then Oizuka's like, "No. I am a man among men. I will not take this I will not be paid from students. I'm going to do this on my own." And then at the end of the episode, Urabi.
Then he goes to his car mechanic friend.
Oh, is that when he does it? Oh, okay.
Because I have
that's when he goes.
Who gives him a raffle ticket.
Okay, he gives him a raffle ticket. And then at the end of the episode,
Yurume visits the queen bitch.
And she's already in the house.
Yeah.
She sees the shoes and she's like, "Son of a bitch, you're in my goddamn house."
And it just cuts out after she sees her.
Yep. And that's the end of the episode 31. So episode 32, you wrote way too many notes. You need to just relax, okay?
I told you yesterday. I showed you.
I didn't look.
Uh, hey,
I just you just said I wrote notes. I'm like that's a lot of notes. Holy crap.
it is.
Um,
It's good because I caught a lot of stuff you missed.
yeah, no, it is. Um, I know. I'm just saying. Like you wrote all these notes. You're making me look bad because I missed all these things. How dare you?
We won't show your notes.
No, my notes are special. Um, I'm trying to cut down on my note taking and try to. Anyways, that's my thing. Episode 32, Miyabi
I know it
threatens
starts
Jerumi.
out with Onizuka walking down the street, hearing gossip about him getting fired from the students.
Mm, I don't remember that, but I'm sure it happened.
Yep.
What I remember is at the beginning of this, Miyabi threatens Jerumi.
Yep.
Um, he
Tries to
says, "Hey,
blackmail her.
don't make me angry." And you know Miyabi's like, "Well, if you try to stop me, I'll tell him what your father did or who your father is or something like that. Whatever that means. We don't know that yet. So that's it's like, oh, what's happening here? The two geniuses of the school, and she accuses her of like, hey, you used to be on my side. Like, her philosophy is like, the teacher betrayed us, and adults are liars, and blah blah blah. And then Onizuka goes to the place for the raffle.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, I don't know about this. And he goes and he turns the crank, and the golden ball comes out, and he wins.
The grand prize.
And what is the grand prize?
A Mercedes.
Mercedes Benz.
Which is worth 8 million yen.
And it was specifically the E430 or whatever that means.
He plans this, and the whole thing is he plans to sell it for the money he owes.
Yep. So it's just over like 8 million, and he's just like, "Oh, this is great. I'm gonna," he drives up to the school, and he's just like, "Hey, check out my new car," and everybody's like, "Whoa!" And Miyabi's like, "Crap. Miyabi needs to have a plan B."
And of course, the vice principal is very jealous.
He's like, "That car's better than my Krista. Oh my god, how can he get such a car? Oh." Which is great. uh, and
then it shows
Miyabi's plan B
yep.
is to do with
blackmail somebody else.
So her dad works for a bank, and this guy who works for a
Hiramatsu Metals,
like
a metal shop.
Yeah, it's a metal
or
like,
car parts.
Yeah, car parts. You're right. And her plan is to, or she heard from her dad that the director almost committed suicide.
Yep.
For his shame of not being, for his business failing. And Onizuka is driving. He's like thinking about plans. He's like, ooh, I could put like an extra something in it and then charge an extra 2 million when I sell it, and I could have that extra money for myself.
By the way, he had already tampered with the muffler, putting a hole in it.
Yep. He's like, it makes it louder, and one of the kids is like, what? That's gonna decrease the value.
I forgot to put that as a note, but I remembered it.
Yeah, and like Onizuka this whole time is super principled. He's like, I can't go after. I know Miyabi did it, and all the kids are like, Miyabi did this. You need to go after it. He's like, nope, I'm not going after her. I'm not gonna do it like that.
He's taking the high road, basically.
Yeah. He's like, she's still my student. She's my student.
Pretty much. Also, if like anything that he does against her can easily backfire as her teacher.
Yeah, that's true. So anyways, Miami's plan B is to call this guy or whatever and have him like walking the road while
Onizuka's
driving around sporadically, and he almost hits him.
Veers to the left,
and his car gets damaged, and he starts talking to this guy, and he learns that this man is a former teacher, and his business is he has a promissory note for like 5 million yen, and he needs to pay it by the next day, otherwise he's going to go out of business, and he's screwed. And he was saying like he used to be a teacher, and as you get perks up, it's like, oh, a teacher, um, and that he's a teacher, and one of his students
Yep.
promised him money as a debt repayment kind of thing, and he hasn't gotten it to him, but he still believes in his student is going to do it, and so Onizuka gives him the car. He's like, here, have the keys. It's worth eight million. You could have it. No, it's okay. Like, I need it for something, but I still have 3 more days myself. So
With also the promise that Hiramatsu will bring him back the
bring
money
back the car, exactly.
or the money.
And then I think that's when. Oh, that's next
Yeah,
episode.
that's where my notes on.
That's when Miyabi explains, oh, that guy he's talking to, you gave him that tale. He's not actually a teacher, and she's like, yep, I told him to tell a story, blah blah blah, to have him give up the car, so he won't have. And so she's happy, and she's like, oh yeah, we're gonna celebrate. This is gonna be awesome. So that's the end of episode 32. 33 is when the fun happened. It's Yurumi's angry. ... And Miyabi gets a phone call.
Sir, Yurumi.
What?
Or you gets a phone call from the person that owns the school cafe that is in turn being blackmailed by Yurumi.
Yeah. Oh, that guy, Mr. S. He was Mr. S. He's being questioned by the principal, right? Like, oh, why did you change it to cash for the pickup? Because remember, Onizuka's still under the embezzlement charges, and she's trying to get down to why. And he kind of like freaks out. He's like, oh, I don't know, blah 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 blah. Oh, I got a headache. Oh, I got body aches all over. Blah, blah,
Mr.
blah.
Sakurada is his name.
Okay, Sakurada,
The
the cross-dressing guy.
Yep.
Cross-dressing guy. I totally forgot about that.
I put it at the beginning of my notes for the first episode.
And Yurumi's angry, and she has Miyabi's friend, the brown-haired chick, who trolled on Miyabi too.
Fukara.
That to call Miyabi and tell her there's a party in this place, but then they're celebrating that Onizuka's gonna get fired. And so Miyabi and her two friends go to the hotel, and while they're in the lobby, it's Yurumi and Murai and Kikuchi, and she says, "Oh, I invited you two here because you guys have balls, basically." And she's like, "Look at them. I invited them to a party, and this is our revenge." And they're like, what the hell did you do? What are you doing? Well, Miyabi pissed Yurumi off, and Yurumi's getting her revenge, and as she sees it as a punishment for Miyabi, like, you need to be punished and solve all the problems, punishment and money. So her plan is to have let's say we'll get there. We'll get there yet. We'll get there in a second. Miyabi and the two kids and her two friends go up to the top floor, to the penthouse suite. They're like, yeah, this is gonna be great. It's 7 o'clock. This is where the party is. It was like 280 something. It was the room. 2806. I don't know. And they go in. They're like, hooray! Onizuka's retirement party, and no one's in there.
Yeah.
It's totally empty, and they're like, what happened? So they walk in, and then they hear the door close behind them. They turn around. There's three guys in masks. And as this is happening, Yurumi's like, yeah, we're gonna ransom them. So they lock themselves in the bathroom, and they get a call. Miyabi gets a call from Yurumi. She's she's like, oh yeah, you're gonna be kidnapped. Um, your parents, we're gonna make you, Miyabi, pay for the school trip, the 8 million yen. So she has these three guys capture them, and they want ransom of 20 million each for each girl. And she's like, well, your parents are gonna pay for it. And Onizuka is on one of his side gigs, not construction, but he's
As a window washer.
window washer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so his coworker or whatever, he sees something in one of the windows. He's like, "Oh, that's weird." He's like, "Hey, I want to see." And he's
Binoculars and
finding
everything.
other binoculars and media. I'm thinking like they're gonna drop the goddamn binoculars because that's what happened.
It's very normal for window washers to have
Yeah, exactly.
not.
And Onizuka looks through the binoculars and sees Miyabi and her two friends being attacked by these men in masks, and he's just like, "Oh shit, that's my student." And there's a blimp flying over,
He does
And-
the most badass line of the show.
and
He uses a grappling hook
and then it cuts to him not washing the window anymore, and you're like, "Where the fuck is he?" He used the grappling hook to go on the blimp.
to swing over to the suite.
He's basically Nathan Drake, okay? And he goes
Busts through the window.
Busts through the window. It's just him. He doesn't have any weapons or anything. And I was kind of worried. I was like, I don't know if that window's gonna bust because he's swinging through that, but they usually make those windows strong. Apparently not in Japan. Apparently not in the 90s. Anyways, so he swings through. I call it the blimp entrance, which is great. And immediately, like he gets one of the guys, knocks him out, and immediately these two guys are like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And he goes up to Miyabi and it's just like, "Oh, well, hello, Miyabi."
Who's
And she's like-
knocked over.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, she's on her back again." They tied him up in chairs and she's on her back.
Because they hit
And
her.
he's like, "Oh, well, hello, Miyabi," and he takes a cigarette and just puffs it in her face. You know, this is wonderful. I'm a social studies teacher, and I'm just here to observe. And he looks at the two guys in the mask, like I'm here to observe this. I mean, I would rescue you, but you've been so mean to me, and I don't think I want to rescue you. I think I'm just gonna watch him beat you up. And she's like, "No, please, you need to save me. You're my teacher." Blah blah. And she's like, "Well, I will, but you gotta apologize for me." And she has a really tough time, and he's just like waiting for them. And at this point, the men in the mask are like, "Who the heck are you?" Like, and they start like beating him, and he gets one of them, and another one like hits him in the head. Another one hits him in the back, and he's just like, "Are you gonna say sorry?" And she's like,
All bloody.
"Sorry." And she finally says sorry, and she's like, "All right." And he says the best phrases in the so far. "All right, the Ministry of Education punch, the Board of Education slap, the Social Studies scissors."
And also the whole theme of the show. Teachers don't do things that aren't in the teacher's handbook.
And she still, even after she's rescued, her mom is just like, "Oh, here's some lunch. Are you feeling okay? You've been sick in school. You've been feeling down today. I got you this great meal." Oh, and she's talking about, "Oh, are you traveling anywhere? Are you the class is going somewhere?" And blah blah. And she just like loses it. She just goes balls to the walls on her mom, like gives her everything that she's been stuffing down. She's just like, I know Dad's not on a business trip. He's with another woman. I know this. Why are you've been lying to me all this time? I know this. All adults do is lie. That's all they're good for. Like there's always a motive behind what they did. Like her teacher betrayed her in her class, and her dad is cheating on her mom, and her is lying about that. Her mom is lying to cover that up. So she even Onizuka she doesn't believe still, even after she got rescued. She still believes that, oh, you only rescued me because you're my teacher. Like you had to do that. There's some other motive behind what you're doing, even though he's being honest. Um, and then after that happens, the day before it's due, Onizuka's like, there's no way like I can make it. Um, so
Fujiyoshi returned the guy that originally had the money, returns the money.
Before Onizuka resigns.
Yeah.
He resigns, and then he goes on a boat to tuna fish. He's like, I'm gonna go on a boat to tuna fish. Doesn't say goodbye to the kids, and Fuyusuki and all the other kids. That the guy did return. And he's like, goes up to the principal. He's like, I'm here to return this thing. I'm here to see Onizuka. He's like, oh no, he's not here. He resigned. And
Fuyutsuki steals yet another car.
she's
She's
like, you can't drive this one. She's like, well, that's because I didn't know about the emergency brake. I can drive this one though. And crashes anyway. Wait, whose car is this anyways? It's some random car. And so they're like running on the pier, and they're trying to look everywhere, and they see Onizuka, and they're like, no, Onizuka, come back. He's like smoking a cigarette. He's like on the ship. He's like, I can even hear my students yelling goodbye to me. And they're like, no, they're so depressed.
And one of the best lines of the episode, Kikuchi then goes, oh, you'll be back.
And they're like, what?
The boat will be, it's a ferry. It only goes around for 2 hours.
It's a cruise ship. And they're like, wait, what? Because he said before he resigned, he's like, I have one more lesson for them. So that was the end of that episode. Next episode is a little more fun. It is the briefcase protection episode. Episode 34.
That is the end of my notes because I watched the rest from my bed.
Cool. So this one was more fun. So it starts off with Onizuka and this cop, and them carrying a briefcase, and Tomoka, or Nomura.
F-Cup girl.
F-Cup girl, yes. They're all being chased by these men, and we don't know why. Anyways, the episode cuts. Then the episode cuts to earlier. He's not corrupt, but he's the
Dirty cop.
The dirty cop, yeah.
Sejima.
He gets a mission from the captain. He's like, you need to protect this case. It is your duty. You can't look inside it, and you need to protect it until I tell you otherwise. And he's like, yes, sir, I'm on the case, blah, blah, blah. And he accidentally opens it up and sees there's a bunch of gold bars in it, because it's like a super heavy case. Bunch of gold bars, and he's like, oh my god, gold bars, oh my god, I'm gonna be so rich. I'm just gonna... He's like contemplating like stealing a couple of them. And he's saying, oh, I got attacked by the Yuzuka, then they stole a couple.
Yakuza.
What did I say?
Yuzuka? What the hell?
Oh, Yakuza. And so then he, then it cuts to, then it cuts to, Onizuka and Mirai and his two friends, and they're watching films, or commercials or whatever it is, of Tomoka, F-Cup girl, and they're like, oh wow, look at that. And there's like remember, she's like 14. Still, I love how Onizuka is just watching it with them.
And doing commercials for fruit.
Yep. And they're like, oh, they're all like perving out over this. Funny enough, none of their noses bleed. Anyways,
Onizuka then cues to him saying, I really want watermelon now.
Yeah, Nomura perverts. That's what I wrote down. And so they're watching, and there's a part where her like top comes off, and they're like, "Oh my god, is this even allowed to be on TV?" And they just watch more intently. And then what you know it, Nomura, F-cup girl, walks in. Yeah, hi. Tomoko, as she likes to be called. And she's like, "Oh, Miss Sensei Onizuka," and she stumbles over herself and she lands on top of Onizuka, and Onizuka is like face up, looking backwards, and her chest, of course, is in his face. And he's like, "Oh, sorry." And they're like, "I don't think he can breathe because your chest is suffocating." I mean, he's just like, "Oh," you know, pervy shit. I don't know what that is. She's like, "Oh no, I've had some problems. My contract is being all weird. They're making me take like naked photos and doing weird stuff." And he's just like, "What?" And he puts on a suit and he pretends to be her new manager, or whatever, her agent or something like that. And he's like, "We're gonna walk in there and we're gonna, make them not make them do that anymore." And so like there's something wrong with the contract, or it was her contract was ending. Um, and so he goes and helps, and he cuts to them like, you know, him kicking down the door. He's like, we're here, we're here to change things. And then it cuts to the police officer's house, and he's in there swimming in his gold, fantasizing about what he wants to do. He wants to go to Hawaii. But he's just like contemplating. He's like, "Oh, I have some of my gold. I need to tell him that the Yakuza stole some of the gold so I can have some and retire, and I'll still get my pension and all this stuff, and then I could be with a blonde girl like this girl on the TV." And it cuts to Nomura like on the TV, and doorbell rings. And it's, when you know it, it's Nomura. And he's like, "Oh my god, she's actually here." And of course, he opens the door and Onizuka pops out. He's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And he's like, hey, no, I don't want you here. I want her here, but I don't want you here. And they need his help because they're being chased by some like dirty men or whatever, some men, and no, that's the wrong one. Gold. And they think, oh, they're being chased by these guys, and they think it's Yakuza. And he's like, "Oh, why did you come to me for?" He's like, "Well," and he's like, "Why are you getting involved with Yakuza?" He's like, "Well, that's why I came to an authority, a police authority, someone that I know." And he's like, "Oh," and he's like hiding his gold. He's like, "What are you doing? Counting your money?" He's like, "No, I'm not counting my money." And Onizuka sees a jar of like coins, and he's like, "Oh, look at these coins. I bet you're saving for retirement, huh?" And then I think somehow some of the gold like got out. It was like, "This is gold. Oh my god." Oh, sorry, I'm reading memes. I'm being cap capsulated by that.
Randall.
Yeah, Randall. And so then the Yuzuka comes to the house, and they knock on the door, and they're like, "Hey, are you home?" And she's like, "Oh my god, they're probably after the gold." But I think they're after Nomura at this point. And so they break in. They're trying to break in, and then Yuko's Onizuka's like, "All right, we need to run." And so he's carrying the briefcase, and they're running, and goes back to the opening scene where they're being chased, and they're on top of this bridge, and they're being surrounded. They're like, "Oh crap! What do we do? These guys are terrible. They're gonna beat us up." And so they just jump on to do a moving car, and sorry, my muscles are tight. sorry, funny meme. Sorry, we're trying to do this as good as possible. But so they get on this car and or on this truck, and it's zooming past, and they make their getaway, and the cop has a contact with this boat that's gonna take them to a safe place, and they discover Onizuka and Nomura discover that there's gold in this thing. They're like, oh my god, let's go, we're gonna go to Hawaii, blah blah blah, and they're being friends and stuff like that, and Nomura on the dock when they're trying to get to this boat, the Onizuka the Yakuza come in their cars, and they're like, crap, we gotta run for it. So they start running for it. That is hilarious. And so he's just showing me memes, and I'm very distracted. Anyways, they get on this boat, and it's just Onizuka and the cop, and the cop's like, here, give me the briefcase. So he hands on the briefcase, and then the cop cuts his rope. He's like, ha ha ha, this is my money now. And so Onizuka realizes that Nomura has been captured, so he follows him to this warehouse, and he realizes that not just Nomura or F-Cup girl is there, but her manager and the manager's boss who runs the company are all being tied up, and yeah, give him an Emmy. You're distracting me. DervDerp. Stop it. And so they're all hostages, and they Onizuka is trying to get him out of there, and then they kind of just leave. But they leave a bomb there, like, oh, you're not going to give us what we want, which is they don't really say what they want, I don't think. Then there's a bomb that's going to go off. They're like, oh crap, we can't make it, and it's counting down. And as it's counting down, the cop comes back. He's like, oh, and Nomura's like, oh, look at that, he came back to save us. He's like, hey, you filled the briefcase with rocks. He's like, wait, the only reason why you filled the briefcase with rocks, you're only back here because I filled the briefcase with rocks. Yeah, you need to give me the gold. And he pulls up his shirt. Yeah, the gold's right here. And the guy's like, wait. As the bomb is just counting down, there's like a minute left. He's like, wait, I got gold. And they're like, we don't care. Screw you guys. We want one thing, but they don't say what it is. And then it counts down to 0, and then nothing happens. And then there's sparks and things, and there's
Guy pops out of the box.
Yeah, a guy pops out of the box, and they're like, congratulations, you made it, and then you're on Celebrity Candid Camera.
It was basically punked.
Yeah, and it was all fake, none of it was real, and then there's some bad guys walk in, and it's
the real
actual
Yakuza.
And they're like, we need that goal, that's our goal, and they're like, what? And when that happens, a bunch of SWAT members come in, and they surround the place, and they capture them, and it's all revealed that there was no gold. There was only it was painted. There was lead painted gold with gold paint. So none of it was real. But the police officer passed the test. He's like, hey, we needed you to get these guys out in the open, and it worked. And Nomura, it's funny, Onizuka and the cop are fighting, and they're like, oh my god, they're friends, they're here to help each other, and they're just fighting with each other. They're like, oh wait, this is a weird friendship. Sorry, reading more memes. There's a bomb, and then there's Celebrity, Candy Camera, and it's revealed to be a sting. That's the end of the episode. Episode 35. Let's get this last one in. This one's really easy. It's about Mariah's mom, yeah. And she's keeps talking about weddings and all this stuff, and Mariah's distracted by this. So he goes to her workplace and he's like, "Hey, my mom's here." And he's like, "There's no older women here," and finds out that Mariah's mom is who's like 28 or something like that still. Is working, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about the barbecue." So they go have the barbecue, and then she comes out, and she's like, "Oh man, it's so hot out today." She's in this like tight skimpy outfit, and like his Mariah's two friends are like just staring at her, and he's like, "Stop, stop! What are you doing?" He's like, "What? It's hot." And she's just like with her boobs like this, and he's like, "What are you doing? Oh my god!" Um, and he finds he learns that his mom was like seen at a bridal shop or something like that, and he's like, "Wait, that doesn't make any sense." So he's out walking, and then one of his friends sees his mom, and they follow him, and she's talking to this older guy in a bridal shop, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on with that?" He doesn't understand. He's like, "Oh, well, maybe your mom wants to get married to this dirty old man." And
Dirty and bald.
yep, dirty and bald and old man. Anyways, um, then he's like, "I don't want her. She's gonna get married without me knowing. I need to look into this more." So of course, he puts on a horrible looking mask, and he has a bat, and he walks in this bridal area, and Onizuka and Mirai's two friends are there to help too, and um, he has a bat, so he's up to no good, obviously, and he's trying to follow his mom, and his Onizuka's like, "Oh, some guy's trying to stop him. Oh, hello, sir. Hey, I'm looking for a certain party. Blah blah blah." And this other guy, he's just like, "Where's the groom? Where's the groom? This doesn't make any sense." Um, and
Turns out there's another wedding party that
this guy like saves him from being thrown out by this security guard guy, and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Blah blah blah." He's like, "Oh yes, that's me," and he's like, "Oh, thank you for saving me." And he's like, "Oh, I have a favor to ask you." He's like, "Oh, I can't. I'm busy right now." So Onizu tries to run away, but he's literally being held by this short man, like the whole episode, and that's like weird. So it cuts to Mirai like looking into different places. Where's my mom? Where's my mom? And he opens a door, and he sees his mom, you know,
at
the altar, getting married to this old bald guy. He's like, "What's
Not
happening?"
even noticing there's a bunch of cameras.
No, yeah, he's focused on his mother, and he beams for him, pulls out this bag. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" He starts, breaking everything and blah blah blah. It turns out like his mom was being a model, and a model in a magazine, and what led him to the bridal thing was she brought home a bridal magazine, and she was like, "Oh no, she's gonna be in a wedding dress and get married." And he was angry because first of all his mom was getting married. Second of all, his mom was getting married without him in it or knowing about it. So that's where
Third of all, his mother complex.
yeah. So she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be late," thinking that she's gonna go out drinking with some dude, and he's trying to he doesn't want that to happen, and so he bashes that in, and he learns that it's just a model, and the guy's flattered. "Oh, you think I'm young enough to marry your mom? Oh, that's funny, but no, we're just a modeling company, and we hired your mom, and she wanted to do it, so we did that, and then it cuts to like them being done, and then Onizuka's like, "Oh," and the guy holding on to Onizuka's like, "Are you done with your test?" He's like, "Yeah, what do you want?" He's like, they so for that they needed a model, um, for and as he says, "Yes, I can help," he like opens his mouth to smile, and it's all like really spaced, really sharp teeth, as he's just like a super creepy, weird death smile. And then he goes up to like him and the guy's wife, like he's like, oh, maybe you can marry your daughter, maybe oh, and he's like, they're like, you can marry our daughter, and he's like looking at his daughter, and she smiles like the exact same way, like, and they're all in the ceremony like smiling, and he's like,
Maybe,
ah!
maybe think of the Mortal Kombat, the Tarakas.
Yeah, pretty much, but more creepy. Oh, I need to stand up. Oh, my hips have been off like all day yesterday. Oh, my God.
Anything else?
That was it. That was the end of the episode. Wedding only modeling. Yeah, that's what I got. And weird, creepy smile from those people. Super weird. Super crazy. Anyways, so there's only 8 episodes left of the series. So I think we're gonna do 4 and 4. 4 next week, and the week after there'll be 4, and then after that we can start doing Dresden. And of course we'll be doing The Boys. We just, if you don't see it, we just posted
Episode 4 review.
our episode 4 of The Boys, so you can look at that.
Last week we did 1 through 3.
Yeah, there's a link in the description. No, we don't have a link.
Yeah.
We don't know how to do that, so apologies. And I'm out of frame.
And
But,
after that, we'll do Tokyo Revengers, as I'm pointing at my figures for
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know if they can see it. It's not going up.
I have a bunch of Tokyo Revenger
I'm in the way,
figures.
that's why. It's all here.
That's what will be next.
It's really small. You won't be able to see it watching the video. But they're there. Trust me, I can see them. They're there.
Michael or Ski Nerd will learn every single character and every single timeline.
Maybe, I don't know.
If you thought he was
only half of them. I don't know like the majority of people's names. I just
If
once I'm done watching it, I forget everyone's name.
If he seems confused with Good Teacher Onizuka, just wait.
Yeah, I'm down.
Anybody that has seen Tokyo Revengers knows it's a lot worse.
Yeah. Alright, well that's it for our review. So I'm Ski Nerd.
Like and subscribe.
That is
DervDerp.
Yep, and this was DervDerp and Friends Reviews. We need to get a different name, because that's so...
Please
kinda cringe.
like and subscribe. Comment anything that we should do next.
Hey, if you guys want to suggest a name for us, for these reviews, that would be cool. Like, I don't know. We could do like extreme, awesome, cool reviews. No, that sounds even lamer. Alright, well that's it. Alright, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bitches.